And so we see as the NBA an amazing opportunity to build the sport there, to build an arena infrastructure. And we've, credit to David Stern, my predecessor, who back in 2001 said we need to plant a flag in Africa. We opened an office in South Africa. We now have 5 offices in Africa, and roughly 6 years ago, we created a league in Africa called Basketball Africa League because we saw that opportunity to build the sport and build economic development as well. I do. I mean, I'll come to, clearly in Europe, for example,
yes,
there are multi-billion-dollar franchises. Just return to Africa for a second. I think over time, absolutely, there's no reason that those franchises shouldn't have the same global values you see franchise in the United States and you do in Europe. I would say in the shorter term, millions of dollars of value,
sure,
no question, behind these teams.
But a growth investment, really.
But a growth investment. So we have a partnership. Our federation is FIBA, and so they are our partners in Africa. And what we did in terms of this initial launch of the league, we took existing clubs, and those clubs are playing as part of this Basketball Africa League. So our plan has always been, once we establish that arena construction has began in Rwanda, President Kagame in Kigali, we have a state-of-the-art arena there. Senegal, Johannesburg, we see enormous opportunity to build additional arenas. And the thought is now that rather than take these existing clubs, that we are going to market with an opportunity to sell 12 franchises, 12 newly minted franchises, with the opportunity to build an arena complex with those franchises. Right. Again, presumably the arena becomes the anchor tenant for that for that arena. And then as we talk to other entertainment properties, that a lot of touring acts, if they can then go to the continent and tour, the economies change, right, as opposed to a one-off event in Lagos or whatever else, or in Dakar. If you can then come and you can tour through several cities in 18,000 person arenas, that changes the economics for them as well.
So there are a few things I want to go ahead and talk about in this video, and I'll be referencing the Basketball Africa League as we know it. So the road to BAL is set to tip off 17th October, and we're going to have Groups A to Group E competing in the first round before the Elite 16. And this is the season where we have Road to BAL. But a major update and major news has come in, and I'm going to be referencing Adam Silver in this one. And in an interview, came out and talked about a few things and a few changes that are going to happen to the Basketball Africa League as we know it. So the Basketball Africa League had their 5th season this year, and it was great. I mean, since the first time the Basketball Africa League tipped off, it has kind of revolutionized and changed how African basketball we've seen it and how we know it. And with reference to competitions every single year, every single time we are guaranteed seeing nations collide, and outside FIBA and national team tournaments, similar to what we've seen in the AfroBasket that recently concluded, and the FIBA World Cup qualifiers, which are going to tip off after the Road to BAL. So there's a new structure that Adam Silver proposed, and the Basketball Africa League will transition from its current qualification-based, merit-based system to a permanent franchise-based competition. And the new system will feature 12 permanent teams with guaranteed annual participation. And the change, this will eliminate the risk of teams losing their spot based on performance in domestic leagues, offering stability and guaranteed visibility. So when I saw this, when I saw Adam Silver come out and say this, which I'm going to leave a clip where he talked about this, it caught me off guard because I didn't expect such an announcement to happen in the 5th season. Maybe it will have happened maybe after the 10th season, after the roots in the Basketball Africa League have been set in Africa. But I feel like this is too soon because the audience has not been established yet. But I can see from where Adam Silver is coming from, and I'm not agreeing with him at all. But considering the fact that the NBA owns the Basketball Africa League, they own the NBA 2K League, and the WNBA and G League. I mean, this is something that's going to happen. And the NBA, as we know it, they're coming to collect, and they have already tapped into the African market through the BAL. And also, there have been statements made by Adam Silver talking about can they be able to expand in the European market, and they're in talks with in that potential situation, which I'm going to go ahead and address in a future video if there are any developments. But with reference to the Basketball Africa League, should you feel surprised? No. I mean, the NBA, they're the most profitable league in the world right now. And they have invested so much money in marketing and packaging their product to the point where it's watched globally. I mean, I'm in Nairobi and I can watch the NBA at the comfort of my, the place where I'm at. And I can just watch it through the app, watch it through YouTube and all that. So the NBA have come to collect in Africa, and they're looking at setting up 12 teams that are going to be permanent. And to be honest, this is something that was in the works. When I saw the NBA and BAL, the FIBA and NBA form a joint league in the BAL, I knew for a fact that this might happen. And even I released multiple videos talking about the harsh truth about the Basketball Africa League, and I talked about this is not an African thing. It is a foreign thing that is brought to Africa, and they've slapped Africa on it, and they have convinced the vast majority that this will benefit you, and this is something I talked about, and there's no ownership. I mean, if Africans owned the Basketball Africa League, this will not happen, because if there's that establishment of like 12 permanent franchises, clearly destroying the whole road to BAL. Because if you look at it, in the traditional sense of the Basketball Africa League, 6 teams had direct qualification and had a direct playoff, no, not even playoff, but BAL participation. But the 6 other slots, they had to go and fight it out in the road to BAL. And that's where Nairobi Thunder were able to make it to BAL Season 5. And this one you're seeing, there are multiple teams in Africa that are trying to get into to play in this competition. But when you change that, that means you have eliminated direct competition. So that means not many countries can be able to participate, which I can say is I don't want to put anything against it, because I understand where the NBA is coming from. They are trying to profit from this market, and they're trying to see, can we make a product that can be consumed by the African market? But in the process, they're going to end up dividing the continent. And if African federations don't come together and understand that we have a common problem, all 54 countries, all the 54 basketball federations come in together and say, hey, look, this is a market that we cannot allow to be taken over by the US. And when they do that, they are going to be the ones who are going to dictate terms, because they have all the resources. Africans don't. That's why we always have a handout to anything. And with them making the stipulations and the way that they want the competition to be at, it will leave Africans with a raw deal, because we are having foreigners come in. They are coming in with their infrastructure. They're going to come in with their own funding, because the NBA makes a lot of money in a single year. That's why you're seeing players getting max contracts, max salaries. And also, when you allow them to come and own your turf, something that is not supposed to happen, because if African federations do not negotiate with BAL as equals, this is what will bring such changes, which are very rapid. And we are having a situation where Adam Silver is coming out and saying he's going to be putting 12 permanent teams here, and we don't know who is going to be playing there, because it can even be a potential dumping ground for those NBA G League players, the NBA rejects, guys who are out of max contracts or even out of a contract in the NBA. They're going to have a shot at playing in the Basketball Africa League as Black Americans, and it's going to be more American than African. And even when I've made a couple of videos talking about the harsh truth about the Basketball Africa League, and I talked about this, and I mentioned this extensively. I said, this is a product that is taking the NBA blueprint and is being used in Africa. And Africa is a very unique audience. And if you're using American strategies the way the NBA uses its strategies here in Africa, it might not work, because as much as the BAL has reached season 5, there are not too many people who know or even understand what BAL is. People only care when they are national, or not even national, but the team that the country is coming from is playing. If that's not the case, people are not going to watch that. So there's that whole situation, that whole division, and that whole pocket of audience that is only watching just because their team is there. But if the other countries, the team is not there, they're not going to watch it. This is going to bring a lot of friction, especially with all the other countries left out. You're going to have like another like 43 or even 44 nations left out, and they are trying to understand, hey, why is it that these guys are coming here to invest, and they're going to be, mangling the sport to the point where even FIBA don't even have any, they don't even have any teeth to even crack down on the NBA, because the NBA can come in and do whatever they want here. And it's up to the federations to be united in Africa so that they can be able to negotiate with BAL and the NBA and FIBA as equals, and not as a one-sided communication. And that's the big problem, because the major selling point that Adam Silver is coming in and saying is, look, there's going to be arena development. So a primary goal is to compel franchises to be anchored to specific markets and take responsibility for developing its home arena infrastructure, which is fine. We have seen multiple nations do the same thing. And, we're not even nations, but even if you talk about the NBA, if you're talking about nations, let's say the Euro League in Europe, you're seeing, teams take that model, not like the NBA, but we have we have a situation where countries have their own leagues, and they set up their own audiences. Especially when I'm watching EuroLeague and I watch Serbia matches, Slovenia matches, they're awesome. But now, if you look at the way the NBA is set up, and I've been watching the NBA ever since I was 10. When you look at the NBA, you will see that every city has its own team, and that's what they're trying to do here. And now, instead of a city or a state, you're seeing every single country will have its own. Not even every single country. They're going to start with 12. But you don't know if they're going to expand, because if the NBA see that these 12 permanent teams are not profitable, they just jump ship and just walk away. And that's something that can happen. But anyway, we'll just know with time. So there's also that soft pitch by Adam Silver, business stability. I mean, a permanent model is intended to strengthen business operations. I mean, maximize revenue streams and promote long-term investment, which NBA executives believe will generate sustainable revenue for the next decade. I mean, that's the thing that, they're coming in out, and also the talent pipeline. They're saying that, this move is expected to improve on coaching networks and accelerate player development. So those are the things that they're trying to say. So should I feel angry about this? I don't think so. Should I really care much? Yes, because it's happening in the African continent where I'm residing. And personally, I am not too comfortable, and I'm not too sold in on this whole situation, because as somebody who has actively covered the Basketball Africa League, I understand what it takes for a team to come in from the bottom and be able to participate there. But also, one thing that people are conveniently forgetting is the fact that the Basketball Africa League is owned by the NBA. The Basketball Africa League is a product of a joint initiative between FIBA and the NBA. And if we all understand this very well, the NBA is the most wealthy and profitable league. So they're the guys who are calling the shots. And if they dictate and they say that this is how we want things to be done, who are FIBA to negate, and who are African federations to negate this? So this is it's a very sad situation, because African basketball is going to change as we know it, and all the other countries are going to get locked out, and the only tournaments that are going to go ahead and play in, maybe it's the Afrobasket, FIBA World Cup qualifiers, teams that get there maybe, and there are only 20 teams that even participate. In the FIBA World Cup qualifiers, only 16 teams make it. So it's a tough situation. And what do you think we should do? Because if you look at this situation, you can see there's a clear vision that the NBA have, and they've been able to establish like there's a market there. But also, not only is it a negative thing that is happening, but also if you take the positives, you'll see that maybe this is what is going to spur change in African basketball, because primarily Africans, we depend on other countries like the US, Europe to come and fix our own problems. Uh, we're not developed enough to fix our own problems. And I can say it's by design, because when the colonial masters came in, the sole mission was to extract all resources here. And that's what they're going to do, because they're going to come in here, they're going to invest all this money, they're going to go ahead and dictate the terms and do everything that they want to do. And as long as they grease the palms of the federations, anything can happen in Africa. And that's the downside, because the only person who gets hurt in this case is the athlete that wants to forge a career on their own using this sport. So it is what it is. So do drop me your comments down in the comment section down below. I know this has been a long spiel, and I had a lot of things to think about before I even came out with this video, because I took some time to check the reaction. I saw a lot of people were not too much sold into this whole situation, but hey, it is what it is. So like, share, subscribe to the channel. I know I've not been uploading that much recently, but hey, the normal uploads will carry on as expected. And I'm out. I'm gonna see you guys in the next one. Peace out.